3DS, original 3DS. So the first version off eBay from a Japanese retailer. So it's a Japanese 3DS with a bundle of 4 Pokemon games from Japan also, because it was a hell of a lot cheaper than buying the English version of the DS with the English version of the games, and all the 3DS games from Pokemon X upwards, obviously because that's where it started on the 3DS, can all be played in English by selecting English at the original menu. So the only thing I have to navigate is the 3DS home screen, which is easy because it's just one button to get to the game once you put it in, and I don't have to do anything in the settings. So recently we purchased this. As you can see, nice glossy red. Quite a lot of wear and tear on it, to be fair, but I am eventually going to replace the shell on it, the entire shell, and hopefully the buttons on the inside. As you can tell, I've taken this off because it's a little bit, but I hope to replace the shell one day. I think it's like £30 for that and the screwdriver, but I just don't want to break it. But as you can see, this is the original 3DS. It's all in Japanese, as you can see there. So, quite an old DS. It's made in 2010, which is obviously going to be roughly the launch of the 3DS. But one of the consoles I definitely probably spent a lot of my time on as a child. That, and then into my teens, probably more the Xbox, but definitely played a lot of DS and do now, as well as Switch. As I said, you've got the stylus. In the back, which you can use for the screen, obviously, but to be fair, I never use the stylus, I use my finger for a lot of it. But they did say on the DS Pokemon was sort of made to be played with your finger, that's why the buttons are so big. And then obviously in the back you have the games cartridge. At the moment I've got Pokemon Y in there. This was the game bundle I bought was like a red bundle of games, so it was Omega Ruby, Pokemon Y, and then both Sun and Ultra Sun. So I've got all them that we'll go through soon, but we'll start with the DS. Has the 2 little cameras on the front here, which is nice. And then you've got the 3D slider on this side to turn it into 3D. And then obviously volume, and then your SD card goes in here. And if it opens the clamshell side, obviously, so lovely. Then you've got your double screens. You can probably see it's had a few scratches on the bottom screen. Top screen's in pretty decent nick. I think there's one line on the edge of it. Yeah, one line, but you don't see it when you play, so I'm not really too bothered. And obviously this was the revolutionary game. The dual screen setup was, still is probably quite revolutionary now. We've had nothing like it since. Got a little bit of wobble on the screen, but again, not too much of an issue. Especially once I replace all this shell, it should be a lot nicer to look at. But I'm not looking at the console, I'm looking at the screen. As you see, the button's got a little bit of colouring, discolouring. And then you've got the buttons. The buttons are quite quiet on this, to be fair. You've got the It's just in here. And then, get back to me. And then you've got the D-pad. Then you've got the 3 start home and select buttons down here. So, I'm just going to start this up for you so we can get a little look at it. I believe it is charged. I haven't used it in a little while. So, it's a little bit slow loading. It is going to turn on. It is turning on, I think. There we go. There's the old classic home screen. You've got all the options for games and the menus down here. Followed by, obviously, what game is loaded up here, and that's Pokemon Y. But I can't really get through a lot of this, or back from it, because a lot of it is Japanese. So I can get into the game, and then I can choose my language within the game, and that changes it to English for that game, so that's all I really do on this. Obviously we do have the like PictoChat and stuff you can draw on and write on, and let's see if I can get that working. Is that what this is? Or is this just a doodling pad? It's loading something, but I'm not connected to the internet. But you see, we've got something loading up here. Yeah, so this is just a little drawing game, is it, or like a... So you can just draw on that. But that is the DS itself. I'm going to power that down. Then we've got to see the screen where you press power down. I can't remember why it does that. I can't remember what that says. It's like a warning. But then we've got the 4 games that were bought with it. Which are perfect. A little bit hard to read there for you, but if I get that to focus. There we go. You can't read any of them, unless you're Japanese, obviously, then you can probably read all of it. But I'll go through them one by one. And we'll start by what game is in the console right now. And that's Pokemon X. Pokemon X. Pokemon Y. Sorry, I'm used to getting Pokemon X. So that's Pokemon X there. You got Yveltal on the front, which is the legendary, box legendary. Dark Flying, I want to say. It's definitely dark, I just can't remember the other typing. But it's dark, definitely dark type, but I can't remember if it's Dark Flying or Dark Fairy. No, it's Dark Flying, I think. It's just a fairy type. I know that. As you can tell, the box is very hollow. I don't believe this one has a manual in it. But I think some of the others do. Let's open this up. No, this has a very, very small sort of don't know what I think that's explaining the online system they had. And I don't know what this one's explaining. This one's a little manual. Is it 2 slate sheets? No, this is a little book manual. And it just seems to be showing you bits about the game and other bits and pieces. I can't really read it, but it's a little bit of information on the game. Then on the back you've got the trading cards, I believe, there, and some more like merch bits and pieces from Japan that would have been out alongside the game. So if we put that back inside, both of them, close that up, and then we can go to the back. And as you can see on here, you've got the 3 starters. You've got Froakie, Chespin, and Fennekin, which is Fennec Fox, Squirrel, Frog. I always use Chespin. I've used Froakie. I've never used Fennekin. I don't like Fennekin as a design. Or its evolutions, it's Delphox and the in-between one. But I do like, not Frogadier, the middle is Greninja, and Chestnut, which these evolve into. And obviously now with ZA they have Megas. And all you've got, like, on the back of here is the 2 trainers you can choose between the male and female trainers. The new evolution up here, that's the Mega Mewtwo Y. Obviously, yeah, because this is Y. And then you've got Froakie, Hyper Training, which is the way to EV train in this game, I believe. But this was the game that introduced Mega Evolution into the series, so that's interesting there, because it's probably one of the most, most mechanics, gimmicky mechanics going in the game. But yeah, that's the back of the box of this one. I haven't played this one in a while. This is the one that I'm sort of playing at the moment. I believe it's a lot easier than a lot of other Pokemon games, but I haven't played it since it came out in about 2012, I believe it came out. 2013, latest. So I'm just trying to sort of play through that again and enjoy it. And I like going through the old games because then I get to use Pokemon I might have not used before. I like trying to vary up my teams instead of having like same team for every game that I use every time. So now we're on to the original Pokemon Sun with Solgaleo on the front there, the legendary Pokemon from the box. And it's Lunala, I think it's his counterpart in Moon. So, let's move on to the box from this game, and we're going to open it up for you, see what's inside. And as you can see inside, we've got the cartridge here. You have to push out like that. There we go. If it will focus for me. I don't think it's going to focus on it. There we go. And it's all in Japanese. I prefer the Japanese titles. I think they look a lot better than what they do in the English games. So then we've got that one. And then, obviously, you've got the inside of the box. Again, I don't think there's really a leaflet in here. I didn't realise this was in there, though. We've got is it a promo? I'm not even sure if it's a promo, but we've got a Snorlax GX in there. Let's try and get this to focus for you again. Yeah, we've just got this lingering in there, so I'll put that to one side because that's quite a nice card. And then, back into the box for you, we've got there we go, a little booklet in there. You've got a little bits about the TG, not the TG, the trading card game in there. But, there we go. Sort of gives you a rough idea, so I can't read it, but it gives you a bit about Pokemon Go, Pokemon Bank, which obviously came, I don't know when it came out alongside these, but, and then you've got a little bit about Z moves, which is a gimmick. Something about Munchlax I can't read. And if you flip it round here, it looks like you've got a little bit about the Sun and Moon anime, which is a very good anime actually. To be fair, I quite like that compared to the rest of them. And then you just got your bits and pieces in here. Bits about your starters and your Rotom, because obviously this was I think this was the first game you got your Rotom decks in. And they started to use Rotom as a more useful sort of Pokemon, as in like, because obviously it's used in Bikes and Galar. It's the Pokedex for a lot of games. It's other bits and pieces in other games now. They started to integrate Rotom more like into games as like a utility is the word I'm looking for. So, and then obviously you just go through the back of the box. You've got the starters along the back: Poplio, Rowlet, and Litten. Big competitive staple. It's Final Evolution Incineroar. You've got Rockruff, Lycanroc, which I never used, but I don't think it's even that good. But it was a big mascot of the game at the time. I think it's Cherim or Cherubi. You've got Togedemaru, Raichu, the Koala one, and Gumshoes. Then you've just got showing the Z moves on the back, the like grooming and looking after your Pokemon. They added battles, your two male and female trainers. I think that's the bride Pokemon that they enrolled in this game. So instead of HM, you had Pokemon you had to call on to do certain things and go across certain areas. Then obviously you've got the Rotom there down the bottom, which is again a big part of this game. With the last breath one, we're going to move on to it's not really too much different to this game. Obviously the box is red, and this is the sort of sequel to Pokemon Sun. This is Pokemon Ultra Sun, and this is Pokemon Sun but with a lot more quality of life and a few more upgrades, which is a lot better. So if you do want the full Alola experience at any point, I would always get Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon over Sun and Moon. It's just a bit more to it, and it's a bit of a better game in my opinion. So you can see a few bits on the back that they've added there. So if it wants to focus for me, doesn't want to, I don't think. There we go. You've got the Ultra Wormholes, which is a good way to get legendaries and shinies on this game. I remember you had to sort of fly through a little mini game and then choose a portal, and you'd come out in a land where there'd be a Pokemon to fight or catch, sometimes legendary, sometimes not. You have the Pikachu Caravan on one of the routes. This is a new, I don't know if it's quite mythical, but at least legendary Pokemon. Can't remember its name, but I know it's definitely mythical or legendary, I believe. And you've just got more of a little bit of a rundown of what's in the game. And again, you've got the fully evolved starters here. So you've got, it's going to test me Litten, Decidueye, and I think it's Primarina. And then with the new protagonists, male and female. But this is just more of a complete version of Sun and Moon, if it's something you'd like to play. And if you'd like if you're going to play Sun and Moon, play Ultra Sun and Moon. We're not focusing, we are horrible. There you go. Play Ultra Sun and Moon, because it's just such a better experience to play, and it's the more complete version. It's it's effectively the Platinum Emerald and Black and White 2 of the Ultra Sun and Moon era. So if you've got one to choose, I choose that one because that's really good. The best sort of way to play Alola. And then we finally got my favourite ever Pokemon game, which is Omega Ruby. Obviously the counterpart to Alpha Sapphire. And on the front there you have the big main point of the game, which is the legendary Groudon, and that is it in its primal reversion form, which is the big new bit they added on top of Ultra Evolution, Mega Evolution in this game. They added more Mega Evolutions, so you had your starters in here, so Sceptile, Swampert and Blaziken could all Mega Evolve, as well as quite a few new additions, like Sharpedo and Camerupt, and I can't remember any more off the top of my head, but like that, Altaria, a lot of the Pokemon got a lot of love in this game. And then, obviously, Primal Reversion is a special version of that, a more powerful version that the legendaries get, so Groudon gets it, Kyogre gets it, Rayquaza still gets Mega Evolution, but Primal Reversion is effectively gives you a bit more on top, so Groudon sets up a harsh sunlight that pretty much stops anything water attacking it. Pretty much it just evaporates up water attacks. And then Kyogre gets one that is like a mega version of Setting Rain. So they both get a massive buff. But in my opinion, Groudon is the best. But that's my opinion. So if we look at the back of the box for you here, we've got the Primal Groudon. Secret bases make a return, which is a really cool part of this game, where you could sort of, at certain walls or hedges or trees around the maps, you could use secret power, I'm pretty sure it was called, and it would rip a hole open or drop a vine down or smash a hole in a cave wall, and you could set up a little sort of home in there where you could put decorations and stuff. And this was big in Ruby and Sapphire, and very big in this game. And then obviously you've got mega versions of Swampert and Sceptile up there. And then you've got the special Pikachu that was available for competitions in this game, which was Cosplay Pikachu. So you put it in different outfits and it suited the cool, tough, smart, cute, and whatever the other one was, of competition types, competition categories. And obviously you've got the two protagonists again here, male and a female, Brendan and May. The starters, Mudkip, Torchic, Trico. And then you've got for this game's evil team, which is Team Magma, that's Maxie, Tabitha, and I forget this one. But I don't think there's too much inside the box on this one, but we'll have a little look. But you've got the game. And this only has the actual Nintendo 3DS. I don't know what it says. Official sort of booklet in it. So, that's as far as that's got. But if anything you want me to do around them, I can play those games, I can film them as much as I can. If this is all you want to see of it, that's fine. But as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you relaxed. I hope you enjoyed. Sleep well. And I'll catch you next time.